Welcome back to the Mind and Pod, where I get to sit down with early stage entrepreneurs who have decided to brave it all and take the leap to start their own thing. Today, I got the chance to sit down with Julian Koh, who's the CEO and founder of Supergulp, which is, I should really let him explain it, but I'll go ahead anyway. Malaysia's first and only homegrown sparkling prebiotic drink with flavors for the Asian market. Although it's for the Asian market, I'm a particularly big fan, to be fair. I love them. I've known Julian for well over 10 years now, and I wanted to talk to him about his journey and how he finally made the decision to start his own company, especially within the hyper-competitive beverage space. Throughout the conversation, we kind of got into some of the trigger moments that he experienced, entering a competitive market, balancing the risk of doing your own thing and rather than sticking to a steady paycheck, and finding the right market opportunity that suits your entrepreneurial ambitions, shall we say. I think one of the most important things that he also mentioned is his opinion on the most important thing for a startup to think about. Personally, it's been great to follow Julian's journey over the last kind of decade, going from graphic design all the way through to being a fully fledged CEO and entrepreneur now. And it is my hope that you get some nuggets of wisdom and a bit of inspiration to maybe take the leap yourself. This is me and my conversation with Mr. Julian Koh from Supergulp. Hey Julian, what's going on? Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you, Greg.
Congratulations on Supergulp.
Thank you.
Who are you? What's Supergulp? Tell me all about it. And
Yeah.
we can, I want to know some stuff.
Cool. So Supergulp is a sparkling prebiotics, right? It's a beverage. It's fizzy. It's carbonated. It's low in sugar, low in calories, high in prebiotics fiber. 13.8 gram of fiber per can, actually.
What's it good for?
So it is fiber that it nourishes your good bacteria in your gut. Your good bacteria is called probiotics. Okay. So your drinks like your Yakult, your Vitagen, even your kombucha, they are just a multiplier of more good bacteria. And what Supergulp do is that it nourishes those guys because they need fiber at the end of the day.
How's that help? Tell me.
Yeah, so I think...
School me like I'm the child that I am.
Okay, so I think at the end of the day, it's you have a healthy gut equals to a healthier body. Right, because everything starts from your gut, right? If you eat garbage, if you eat crap, then
it's actually really nice. Like, I'm gonna go through all of these and have to go to the bathroom.
And of course, then you get that body that you don't want, right? You feel lethargic, you feel fatigue, things like that. But everything starts from your gut, right? It's not just from consuming beverage like this, but of course everything adds up. Even like sleeping enough. Moving your body enough, eating, and even drinking enough, right? So I think everything adds up together equals to.
Does this mean that my diet can be just full on garbage, and then I can use this to just balance everything out?
No.
So can I eat burgers every day now? Burgers and fries Monday to Friday, but then I can drink this and be fine.
So I see it in different perspective, right? So I see it in like, okay, so if you have a greasy burger, right, which is filled with like fats and oil, but if you choose, let's say, a can of soda which is high in sugar and stuff, then it just becomes like an explosion, right? Of like all that crap.
Flavor.
Exactly. But if you try to contra it with, let's say, a healthier beverage, then you don't feel so guilty about yourself, right? I'm eating like a fat and juicy beef burger, but at the end of the day, I'm just drinking something that is low in sugar, low in calories. I know that, the burger gives me that kind of calories that it's crazy, but the drinks, I can control the drinks.
Can't control the burgers though.
Yeah, you can't control the burger. Yeah.
So what I'd like to do is find out more about you as well.
Sure.
Because you're a graphic designer by trade, then a
Yes.
project manager in tech, and now on this journey in F&B, which you had no experience in.
Of course.
So how did you start that journey?
Okay.
So you jumped into graphic. Were you a graphic? So I don't know this actually myself. Yeah. How long have I known you for? 10? 12?
Yeah. When PMC is around.
2010.
2010. Yeah. 10 years. More.
It's 15 years.
15 years. Yeah. More.
Okay. So did you study graphic design?
Yes, I did.
Why did you choose graphic design back then?
Yeah. So
that's why I was surprised.
So I come from a government school, right, in Malaysia. So at that point, I think being in an Asian household, usually the Chinese parents or Asian parents would normally ask you to, hey, do engineering, doctor,
accountant,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't see much interest in that, right? But I've always liked, I think graphic design for me at that point.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but to go from like that to graphic design,
Yeah.
that's like a massive, that's a big middle finger. It's like,
I know.
So how did that happen?
Yeah, so I think I've always liked album artwork,
Okay.
right? Like your band cover album or your artist, right? And I always thought like, hey, who created all this? So I did a bit of research and I found out that graphic designer actually do all this, right? And I thought, okay, very interesting. Maybe that's something I want to do, right? And I was lucky enough to get like a partial scholarship from an art school in Singapore. And I was like, okay, maybe I can try it out, right? And also, I think I chose that also is because I know that there is not much exams, right?
All right.
It's only based on final year project, right? So I thought, hey, you know what? I like that because I don't have to study too much for it.
Are you lazy? Back
then, yes, maybe back then, yes.
Because same. For sure. Like
Yeah.
I'm not big on exams.
Studying.
Well, that's why I'm in sales.
Yeah, and trying to remember certain things so that you can jot it down during exams, right? So I think it's going to be a bit tough for me.
Just a quick question on that one. So how did that conversation go with your parents?
Yeah, I think they're very, very open. They're like, okay, yeah, if that's what you wanted to do, then go for it, right?
What do you reckon because you said like in a traditional kind of Asian household, it's like engineering, maths. So what makes them different or more open than...
I guess it's more like passion.
Okay.
Right? So I say, hey, look, I think that is what I want to do. And I think that would be a very cool occupation, right? Like designing graphics for, imagine like big bands and artists. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So they're very open, right? And they said, okay, yeah, let's give it a try, right? They didn't force me into anything. And I said, okay, I just want to do that.
That's cool.
And yeah, so I signed up for that course. And I signed up for that.
It's working.
Yeah, no, it's working. So I signed up for that course, and I just went straight to it. So, I mean, throughout my 4 years in art school, it's a lot of playing with different mediums, typography, graphic colors. I like it because I think it's very nice. You can actually bring out that creativity in yours, in your body, right? And I fast forward. I actually gotten my first job as a graphic designer in Nylon magazine in Singapore.
Right.
Yeah, it's a female magazine. It's female fashion. Sorry.
Yeah.
For teenagers.
Okay.
So that's where
so that's all you. You're like a 21-year-old male.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. Designing for a magazine is cool. And every magazine back in the days, I don't know whether right now it's still the same. But back in the days, you have like editor, your name, your graphic designer, your name, and I thought, oh shit, it's pretty cool. My name is on the magazine, right? And this is being published and distributed. I thought that's pretty cool occupation. But I think unfortunately, I don't think that graphic design is for me because I realized that I'm sitting at my desk for like 9 to 5, 9 to 6. I was like, oh man, that's really, really boring. Like every day I'm just going through layouts and layouts of magazines.
Yeah.
Just putting things together, photos, colors, typography, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, maybe that's not for me.
Was it just basically a lot of solo work?
A lot of solo work. That's right. That's right. So basically, you just need to, just design the magazine, right? And I was like, okay, maybe that's not for me.
And that's when you went on to project management.
Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe I'll fast forward a little bit. Backtrack a little bit.
Okay. Can I backtrack a little bit further?
Yeah, sure.
How important was the support from your parents in deciding to go against like the norm?
Oh, they're very, very supportive. They thought I'm going to like design for like big artists and.
He's got a vision. He's gonna take care of us.
Yeah. No. So I'll just backtrack a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think even during my 4 years or actually 4.5 years in art school, I did a short internship with Pestle and Mortar.
Oh, that's still when you were studying.
Yeah, this when I was studying.
How old are you?
I'm actually 32 this year. Yeah, that was 10, 15, or even more actually. More. I think 20. I can't remember, 2011 or 2012. I can't remember, somewhere along those lines.
Oh my God. Okay.
So yeah, so that is when I thought, hey, you know what? Designing is not just, cover albums and stuff. It was t-shirts.
Yeah.
Also apparels, right? Socks.
I've still
shoes.
got like the first mechanic tees and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I've still got them in there.
So I thought, oh, okay, it's like that. So then it just builds me. I'm like, okay, I really like this, right? And then I got lazy in Singapore because everything is quite fast paced, right? And I was 22, right, or 21 ish. And I was like, okay, I think this is not for me because I need to commute and take the train and you go to work, rain or shine, I still need to walk. And I was like, oh man, this is really not for me.
Right.
So I quit. I came back, and Hugh was kind enough to offer me a job. He was like, okay, look, we're building Major Drop. Why don't you come in and help out, right? So I came in and I did that for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years or 4.5. I don't know.
You worked your way up to brand manager, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. So everything, right?
Just a quick one. What's Major Drop?
So Major Drop is like a multi-brand streetwear store.
Okay.
I hope you don't quote me on this. Because I do. You don't even know your product.
I don't need to quote you. You quote yourself.
Yeah. No. So I think at that point it was very, very refreshing because not only design, there is also the marketing. There is also the operational setting up at the store. Yeah, a lot, right? So I thought, hey, you know what? That kind of experience I cannot buy anywhere, and I like it. And I think fast forward 4.5 years, one day I actually gotten a message on LinkedIn by actually one of my ex-boss now. He's from Honestbee. And he said, hey, look, we're looking for a marketing exec, blah, blah, blah. Are you interested? I remember at that point I was a little bit hesitated because I was like, oh man, I'm going to leave my comfort zone and go out in the real world, right? And I was like, okay. But anyway, I went for it. I went for the interview. I sat down with Mick, who is my ex-boss, and eventually I moved to Honestbee. And at that point, it was another level for me because I've never done food delivery apps, food and grocery delivery apps before, right? And doing marketing that is way different from retailing, right? It's
Why did they reach out to you? Because you was it brand? Were you in brand and marketing?
Yeah.
Major
Drop. Sorry. And I think at that point, because I think Honestbee just started in Malaysia. They are Singaporean based. And they just started. Probably they just needed to get like people to do some of the work, right? And
it's really good, by the way.
Yeah. Ooh. And I joined, and I remember my first month was Mick told me, he said, look, go and get 50 influencers, right? I don't want to pay them. I just give them a free meal. I was like, so I reached out to all my friends. I was like, hey, look, I'll give you a free meal. Just post.
Such a Tyler boy.
Exactly. So I remember that was quite interesting because I never knew how a food and grocery delivery business is. So that's where I started to pick up like a few skills along the way, like negotiating, selling, and I was like, oh shit, that's very, very interesting. And I like it. I felt like, hey, you know what, that's really me. and then unfortunately we need to wind up because I think we ran out of cash. So company stops, and then I was fortunate enough to get to continue my journey into a last mile delivery company called EZ Parcel. Picture.
Just a quick one, making that choice from kind of moving from Major Drop after 4 years into something completely unknown. Can you? I don't know if you can remember this far back from all the partying days that you've had. How do you make that decision to go from doing this and then, like you said, right, stepping out your comfort zone to doing something else?
So for me, I think moving from retailing into food and grocery delivery, it is different because now we are no longer just a retail e-commerce, but a tech company, right? Because everything boils down to just one single app on your phone, right? The user experience, everything. So, and I thought that was quite interesting because I think I would also like to challenge myself into how do we become that number one delivery player in the market, right? And at that point, I think Malaysia was still very, very infant. I mean, of course, you have Foodpanda, who's been around for maybe at that point 3 years before Honestbee, or 4 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no Grab yet at that current moment.
Damn.
I know,
ago.
right?
Was it My Taxi at the time? Was it
Yeah,
still...
My Taxi. No,
yeah.
no, it's Uber at that point. Uber.
Okay.
I think it's Uber, and then after that, My Taxi bought over, right?
Did it not come...
There's no food delivery yet. There's only e-hailing.
I was wondering, wasn't there not HelloFresh?
Oh, Happy Fresh.
Happy
yes,
Fresh.
yes. You're right. Yes.
Yeah, but that was more on a
Grocery, yeah.
Yeah.
So they work with like supermarkets to do delivery for the...
I'm trying to drag something out of you here. In terms of like how you actually make the decision to go from kind of major drop, comfort zone, good at this, to going to Honestbee. Was it like a conscious thing? It's like, oh, I see an opportunity here in tech, or I see an opportunity for growth. What was the...
I think growth, right? Not so much of whether the industry is tech or whether it's e-com or anything, but I think it's growth as me as an individual. I think I'm able to learn a little bit more. Like I'm able to learn things that I probably don't know, right? Try to take it to the next level, right?
Why do you reckon that is?
Sorry?
Why do you reckon that is? For you?
I mean, it's a regional...
And by the way, you're lazy by nature,
I know.
right?
At a point, I realized that I cannot be lazy anymore.
So it's kind of like there's a pendulum, right? It's like, oh, I'm dead lazy. I just don't want to do any exams. Like, fuck. It's like, oh god, now I want to grow. Now I want to learn.
Yeah, no. So at that point, I think I realized probably a little bit more mature, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I need to take myself more seriously, right? And I thought, hey, you know what? It's a regional brand. We are not just in Malaysia and Singapore. We're also in Philippines. We're also in Thailand. I think Japan. Yeah, I think there's Japan. I think there is also Hong Kong, Taiwan. I think so. Probably 6 or 7 markets. And I thought, hey, you know what? Very interesting because I get to work with like different regional counterparts as well.
Right.
So I thought, hey, you know what? That's very, very nice, refreshing perspective, and. And yeah, so I did, and then unfortunately we closed down, and I moved into last mile delivery.
EZ Parcel.
EZ Parcel, correct. So EZ Parcel owns Pigeon as well. So it's aggregator plus delivery fleet. Sorry.
PGEON.
Yeah, exactly. They are just like your Postlogic or like your DHL or like your RMX, right?
Was the reason for taking that job because you just needed to get something?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it?
Yeah.
After honestly, I was like, shit.
I
didn't need anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So but I think that is where I actually learn a lot more on, because if you look at a business, right? I mean, you have your marketing, you have your management, your finance or whatever, and then you have also the operation. Operation is something that I've never put myself into, and I think during the EZ Parcel or Pigeon time, and that's where I get to see like shit, the drivers, the riders work really, really hard, like just to get your parcel to deliver from point A to point B. And I was like, shit, that is where I get to put myself in their shoes, and I was like, wow, okay, not easy, really, really not easy. And I think that continues to sit with me until today, right? So whenever I see like riders or whenever I see like Grab drivers, I know how lonely they could be, right? Because every day you have like 50, 100 parcels to deliver and you're just alone. Yeah, you're just alone, right? There's nothing else you can do. Right. There's no like interaction, sitting down, having coffee with your friends. There's no such thing, right? Because you just need to deliver that's your KPI, right? But I think during that time, I get to learn a little bit more on the last mile. And I think later I'll add on that how it helps, that in Supergulp, in the Supergulp context, right? Because of that experience.
So for EZ Parcel, what you were project management and
Exactly,
operations
yeah,
was it?
yeah. So basically getting more clients to use our delivery service, right? So at that point, like even talking to Shopee, hey, say, look, put us as your another courier provider, things like that, right? Of course, the operational bit as well, that we work with other team, the hardcore operation guys, right? To ensure that, hey, we brought in the client, great. Now, how do we ensure the SLA on time, right? I mean, you can bring in 1 million parcels a day, but then if you don't deliver, they will still cut you off, right? Yeah. Same thing, pricing and all this, right? So I think that was very, very interesting. And I think for me, especially on big days like your 3344, even on your
11:11.
exactly, those are the days that you can see like parcel volume is just crazy, right? And I think at that point it was COVID as well, right? A little bit of COVID, and we still can go to work because we are considered as essential.
Essentially,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I still remember we still can go to work, but just wearing on put on masks and sort of like sanitize your hand and stuff. That's very very interesting. Even during that time, we were also speaking to your guys like China, the guys who do shipments from China into Asia.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting because then I get to see, oh shit, that's how actually parcel flow into the country.
Right.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the only time that I get to learn. Then I get to learn a little bit more on like air freight, sea freight. And I was like, oh, okay, I get to learn a little bit more on that. I thought, interesting, right? Something that I didn't know. And I thought,
So far you've got, working backwards, logistics, project management, operations, you've got marketing,
Yeah.
branding, graphic design.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
yeah.
so far you're doing like an
Jack of all trades,
yeah, it's like
master of none.
Yeah, it's like well, now you're running your own company,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there's something.
Yeah, it helps. Everything it helps, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a very nice story, right?
Do you reckon it was is this a conscious thing? It's like, I'm building up to start my own thing. Was that always the thought? It's like, one day I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be working for the man for this length of time.
So honestly, even my later on stage, right? Even during towards the end part of my career occupation.
Yeah.
I was actually trying it out to sell skincare.
Really?
I know, yeah. It's a very, very short stint, right? I was just trying it out.
Beautiful
like
looking
part-time.
man.
Yeah, like
That's what it is.
part-time, right? I was working with this aggregator. So they buy and sell different skincare products. So they import skincare products and they just sell it to local.
Right.
And I was doing like partnerships. Partnership sales. For a short stint, and I realized that shit, I cannot juggle because I have my full-time job and also I need to commit my time to this. And I was like, okay, I need to pick one, right? So let's pick one that pays the bill, right? So full-time job it is.
Yeah.
Right. So and then after that, I got another. So you see, I think I was quite fortunate. And I have my ex management who is part of Honestbee move into Food Panda, right? Yeah. And he was like, hey, look, we're looking for a marketing guy. And that's where I go like, oh, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. And anyway, and at that point I thought, okay, look, Honestbee, Food Panda, not much difference. Okay, more or less the same, different color, different brand. That's it, right?
Okay.
How hard could it be? Right? Copy, paste,
Yeah.
right? So I jumped into Food Panda. I think it was in the middle of COVID. And that was about two and a half years.
A Food Panda.
Yeah, a Food Panda. And I think that is where it unlocks even more because now the scale is bigger.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Food Panda, it's still a delivery hero owned, right? Based in Berlin. And I was like, wow, the scale is even crazier, right? Like the volume of food that we process in a day, it's in the millions. I was like, fucking hell.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, sorry, can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay. I just said fucking hell.
It's just
yeah, I know.
Just a conversation. It's not like
so-
a PG-13.
Yeah, then I was like, shit, wow, damn, crazy.
Before getting to Food Panda,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to understand is your decision making process.
Yeah.
Because you looked at the skincare aggregator and you weighed up the skincare aggregator and EZ Parcel.
Yeah.
And you said, well, one of them is going to need to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So full-time job kind
Yeah.
of takes it. So how did you assess the risk of that skincare aggregator? Did you just see it and were like, I don't think this has legs. Like this isn't going to make it. So therefore I should focus my efforts somewhere else.
Yeah,
Or-
correct. Because it's just a part-time job, right?
Right.
And it's not gonna pay me a full-time salary.
But did you see the company being able to do well? Did you see a route for that company? Be like, okay, if I if I quit EZ Parcel and do this thing full time, then within the next 6 months, we're going to do X, Y, and Z.
For sure, but I think it'll take a little bit more time because it's a startup.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll take a little bit more time. Yeah, so then I have to choose either that or that. And I was like, okay, let's do full time, right?
Is that other company still around?
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still around. Yeah.
Although you're going to be like, oh no, they died. I'm like, oh,
No, they're still around.
it's because you didn't join them.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so let's do Food Panda, right? Formula, copy paste. Shouldn't be.
Marketing?
Exactly, still the same, right?
Marketing exactly.
Growth, and this is where it gets a little bit more interesting then.
Okay.
So it is marketing with thought process of growing the business, be it top line, be it bottom line. And that is where I learn, and I can tell you how it applies to the context of today, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't know. Like end of the day, like because I was younger and I was doing marketing, I was doing branding, all the cool stuff. I never knew that, hey, a piece of spreadsheet has a lot to tell you about.
Basically, the stuff behind the fluff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that is where I learned, and I was like, wow, damn, okay. Now I know, right? And I was like, okay. Yeah, a lot of learnings, and especially, you know, I was working with the management team, and I was like, wow, shit, even better, because the more they throttle you, the more they put pressure on you. I feel like I learn a lot, right? Like, and I think I really built that part of me during that tenure, and I was like, shit. I try to learn from them. I try to be like them, you know, and that is where I go like, I like it, right? I really like it. I enjoy this, right? I enjoy this. There's a lot of like analyzing as well because it's a tech company, so there's a lot of data to analyze. There's a lot of decision that we make is based on what we see, but of course not everything. We also need to understand the on-ground side, right? Like, hey, what's reality on the ground? Right?
So you marinate the data with the...
You marinate that, and then you make like a sound decision. Right? And I think at a point I feel like I unlock a new level of like learning.
Can you remember a time when you looked at the data and were like, not too sure about this, and then you had to look at what was actually happening on the ground, and you kind of did that equation, were like, okay, we need to make this decision, and this will be the outcome, and it actually played out. Can you remember?
Of course. And also I think that, you know, I'm fortunate enough to work alongside with good bosses.
Yeah.
And normally they'll just tell me, look, go down and see it on yourself, right? Like, and go and
can you give me an
understand,
example?
right? So
real world.
Yeah. So for example, let's say vendor, right? Okay. So how business model of a food delivery app is simple. You need customers. You need the vendors, and then you need the operation, the delivery, right? From point A to point B. You have customers, you have operation,
right?
But if there is no vendor, then there's no sale, right? So as simple as a certain zone, and if you see like, hey, look, why is this zone not hitting a certain numbers that we want, right? Few scenario. One is that maybe not enough customers, not enough active customers. Sorry, you can have a lot of customers, but if they're not active, no point, right? Or two, look into vendor availability, right? You have 1 million vendors, but only one open. then obviously, right, there is no orders. Operation, there's customers who order, there's vendor who accepts and cook the meal, but there's no rider deliver the food. Then same thing, customer satisfaction goes down, people not going to come back, customer retention is going to be tough, blah blah blah, right? So an example, a zone that we understood that, look, I think something's wrong here, right? So we look at vendors, right, that didn't turn on, right? Didn't turn on the device, so basically unable to accept orders. But as simple as just go on the ground and just speak to the owner of the restaurant and say, hey, why didn't you turn on? Then we know that, okay, look, device has issue, although it says turn on, but I still cannot accept orders. look, what's the next thing to do is let's replace the device.
Right.
So then at least the device, and the device can allow you to accept more orders. So as simple as that, right? So what you see on the data is just, okay, the vendor is not turning it on, but why?
Right.
But little do you know that actually the device has issues. Yeah. So marinating what you see on spreadsheets and graphs versus what you understood on the ground, right? So I think that's interesting.
Data to kind of insights. And then,
Yeah.
okay, well, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah, because no point, like, for example, if you see on the data, it says that, oh, they didn't turn on, but yeah, you keep telling them turn on, but yeah, they already did. But it's just the device is not working, right? And how, right? Yeah, so I think that was very, very interesting to, especially like learning that part, like the offline to online, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that's very, very good.
2.5 years.
Mm.
And then you went from Food Panda to Supergulp.
Exactly.
Straight
So how that came about,
Yes.
I like going to the supermarket, right? I know, right?
Just hanging out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just hanging out.
It's
I just
a
like to
fucking weird thing to say, man. I like going to the supermarket. Why do you like going to the supermarket?
No, because I think there's thousands and thousands of SKUs, a lot of very nice colors, some cool packaging, some cool brands.
Can't take the graphic designer
Right?
out of you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Just
So
perving on all the brands.
I was looking at it, I was like, wow, super cool. And I think one day I was at Cura, and I was looking at beverage section. I was like, wow, so many stuff. Like, which one do I buy? Right? Obviously, you got your standard Coca-Cola, 100 plus, Sprite, whatever, right? And I came across Olipop, and I was like, oh, really, really cool. Like, nice packaging, so fun. It's me. It screams me, right? Like, oh, I can resonate that, right?
You got black pants and a white shirt on. It's like
yeah. So I was like, oh damn, so cool. And I saw like different flavors, and I was like, oh, then I saw the price tag. I was like, $14.90. Oof, so steep. I was like, so expensive for one can. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, but it's okay. Let's try a few, right? So I bought a few of them, bring it back home, and I was trying it out. I was like, ooh, I like it because I don't usually take a lot of refined sugar, right? I try not to if I can. And when I tried it, I was like, wow, it's refreshing. I don't feel like, oh, I'm drinking too much sugar. But I feel there's a couple of things that is lacking, right? So I think a few of the identifier would be, one, I feel the flavors are quite generic, right? Because if you look at Poppy, you look at other prebiotics players, and I was like, okay, very similar, just different packaging, different color, more or less, right? Second of all, way, way too expensive. I don't think anyone can afford $14.90 every day, right? Unless, because that's the Starbucks price, a grande, right? Starbucks, but 14 ringgit, 13 to 14.
What are you drinking right now?
No, it's not Starbucks. I don't want to highlight them.
Why? Who is it?
Don from...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll scrub that bit out, don't worry.
And then you also have, so generic food. And second of all, I feel that accessibility, only in Cura. If I go to the coffee shop downstairs, I don't see it. If I go to the restaurant down the road, I don't see it. But I need to drive all the way to Cura and just to get that. So okay.
Did you buy this with the intent to try and do something for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought there's an angle. I like it. I can tell you, even today when I go to the supermarket, whenever I see something cool, I will buy it, and I will try it at home.
Why now? Like, because when obviously being over at Food Panda, and then you just happen to hang out in the supermarket this one time, and you're like, what the hell is that? It's $14.90. But then you were just like, you know what? I'm gonna buy 5 of these and take them back because I think I can. If they taste like garbage, I can do something else better.
Exactly. That is the thought process.
Have you always had that kind of entrepreneurial opportunity?
Of course. Like I've always liked F&B, right? I'm not like a big foodie, but I like seeing F&B in a creative way. Right. To be honest, there's a lot of restaurants these days like gourmet burgers, gourmet pizzas. I don't know, everything, right? And I always think like, oh shit, very, very cool. But do I want to do something like that? Maybe not, because at the end of the day, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's for me. There's no scalability. I mean, at once, right? If I had to look at that business model or look at that shop, and I was like, can I scale this to 10 outlets in the next month? Oh, tough, man. It's going to be tough. Because
I mean, this now thought process has got to come from somewhere. And one of the reasons why I'm curious about this is something's happened in your brain. I'm pretty sure you have one, to see this opportunity at this moment in time. Because back in the day when Honestbee wound up, and then you were like, I just need to get a job of some sort, and then you went to EZ Parcel, right? So, like in that moment, in that time frame, maybe there was an opportunity there. Is there a reason why you wouldn't look at it then compared to?
I guess also it's because the experience and things that I've learned along the way gives me a little bit more confidence and say like, look, maybe I'm able to tackle things like this. Right. Back then, maybe not, because like, do I know about P&L? No. Do I know about marketing? No. Do I know about sales? No.
But we're going to get onto the fact that you know fuck all about F&B.
Of course,
and then you're just like, bam, now I do. Now we've got investors. Now we're
Yeah.
in all these stores, right? So I think it's an interesting kind of journey to see you go on, because by the looks of things, I've known you since you were 18.
Exactly.
That's
that's
fucking mad, man.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, there's this argument about entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
And people are born entrepreneurial, and that's just who they are and what they do. And you've gone through, it appears like a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
Like, going from different companies, acquiring all these skills, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, it's in the supermarket and I saw this thing, and I was like, well, I can do that better.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've walked into the supermarket one person and then completely changed into a different person in the supermarket.
I know.
And come out with a business. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, how the fuck did that happen?
Like I said, right, there's three I wouldn't say pain points, but voids that I see I can tackle, right? Probably that's my angle. Accessibility, pricing, flavors, right? And I thought, oh, you know what? I think I'm able to do this, right? And also, I'm able to do this alone. I think that's the word for it, right? Because I won't be able to hire anyone,
right,
at that point, right? Can I sell a can? Yeah, I think I can.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Can I market a can? Yeah, I think I can. Can I deliver a can? I do have a bicycle. I do have a motorbike. Yeah, why not? Right? I can do that. Yeah. So I think all of this I can. Right?
Right.
And I said, okay, let's find out more. How do we start this? How do we...
What's the next step?
Exactly, right?
I just love the fact that it's like, can I sell a can? Can I deliver a can? Can I...
Yeah, because...
It's like very hands-on. It's like, can I... I don't know if some people have got this kind of unicorn, utopian style kind of mentality.
Mate, until today, I still bring cans around with me.
Dude, like
every day.
People thinking that, want to become like a founder or whatever, it's just like getting everyone else to do the work. And your thought process is like, well, can I take this can and to go over there and sell it? And then can I deliver it myself? And it's like very hands-on. I remember you posted something as well about a delivery coming in.
Yeah.
Like all the crates coming up. I was like, holy shit, that's really cool.
So I think it's, I think at the beginning, I understood that it will be lonely. It will be just you, and just you. Make or break is just you, right? If you are lazy, then it'll break. If you try. I'm not saying like try then it's a yes, but if you try, there's 50% chance of failing, right? 50%.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, 60, 70, 80.
Keep
90.
Yeah. It's
right?
Crazy. It's,
So thought,
like you're saying, there's a lot of beverages and all that kind of stuff that are out there.
So then I think there's one thing also that it subconsciously at the back of my mind is that if I do things that challenge the status quo, like everyone is doing the A, B, C, D, like a different playbook, and if we just do the opposite, then I think we'll stand out, right? Imagine this, right? Everyone's at a train station, everyone just walking, talking on the phone, or even like texting, going to their respective trains and stuff like that. Imagine you are the guy that is, I'm not saying that we should do it, but if you're naked and you're just screaming, everyone look at you. Correct. Challenging the status quo.
I mean, to be fair, if I just took my shirt off in the middle of Malaysia and started doing that, I would be like, the fuck is that guy doing?
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought, okay, if you're able to think in that way, then I think we should be able to do something, right?
Walked out of the shop, tried all these different flavors, understood those well. You you were thinking that there's an opportunity to do something that's more accessible.
I think it's
cheaper,
an
and flavours.
opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And I think that I should just take a swing.
So a lot of people think about like passion projects and being like deeply kind of passionate about making a change.
Someone told me this.
Is it? I mean, is it? By the sound of things, for you, it's just like you can do it better, and
Yeah.
therefore, well, if I've seen it and I think I can do it better, I should do it better.
Yeah.
Was there any thought about the customer at this point, or is it just something that you saw? There's a market made for this already.
No, man.
But-
I think at that point, which I will
You just
elaborate.
like, I want to make some money.
Yeah, and I
This is
will
it.
elaborate a little bit more a bit later, right? About that part where, is there a market for it, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, the probiotics market has been around. I mean, you have your kombucha, your Yakult, your Vitagen, all these like milk product, right?
Yeah.
For sure, dairy products, sorry. Sure, but prebiotics is just very, very infant, right, at that point. And yet, so started Googling, and I was like, okay, I found like some manufacturers in Thailand, in Vietnam, I think all the way in Taiwan as well. And I was like, okay, look, let's just set up some meetings, right? And just tell them what you want to build, and let's see if they are able to do so, right?
Okay.
So I remember I found a couple in Vietnam, and I was like, okay, I've not been to Vietnam.
I like how you're just talking about this like it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
You know that. So obviously, this whole thing is designed for aspiring entrepreneurs and people that want to get into like building their own thing. It's amazing how you've gone, by the way, in just this kind of few minutes, from supermarket to idea to Googling to setting up meetings in Vietnam for production.
Yeah. So I set up a few, and I told my partner, I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just go to Vietnam, and
Life partner or business partner?
life partner.
Just checking.
Yeah, I said let's just go to Vietnam, and I said, look, I have a couple of meetings there, right? And if it turns out to be not legit, or probably they can't do it, then it's a quick holiday then, right? But if it turns out legit, then great, right? I think we have a next step, right? But yes, it turns out legit. And
How did you select those partners in Vietnam? By the way, I've drank this so fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to the washroom in a minute.
just Google, and then and I just messaged them. I said, look, okay, I'm coming this date. I said, let's meet 10 a.m. Right?
So selection process, like
exactly.
who comes up top, reviews.
SEO.
Is it
It's SEO, right? And I went there, shared with them the vision. I said, look, I'm gonna do this. I want to build this. I need this. And they said, okay, we can try building it.
Had you refined your kind of vision for where you wanted to take the company and all that kind of stuff at this point, or is it just like I'm just going to turn up and be like, I want to make some sparkly shit? Can you?
No,
can you do it?
I think at that moment there is no vision or anything. I just want to know whether is it feasible,
Right.
Whether is it possible to do it. But I know that I don't want to do it from home because I can't cook. Right. And
At least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but I need someone else to do it, right? So there's no preparation. Just go there, speak to them, tell them what you want, and see if they are able to do so. And I think at that point, they said, okay, I'm able to do so, and we'll try building some for you, and then we'll send to you some samples and stuff, right?
Any cost involved at this point?
Of course, I mean, it's just freight.
Right.
Yeah, just shipping. Yeah. Just parcel courier. Right. And I
At
was
this
like,
point, are you still working, by the way? Food Panda. I don't know if you can talk about that.
Yeah, I am.
So you haven't completely left. You've seen an opportunity, but you're still getting full-time pay.
But that's
Okay.
towards the tail end already.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, because I thought, hey, you know what? I think this is the time for me to build. I don't know. It's just, one day when you wake up, you feel like, okay, I think today I want to do something.
Yeah, that's what.
Right.
That's what we're here now as well.
What do you call that thing? When you just wake up and say, shit, I want to do something today.
It depends. So it could be a strike of kind of inspiration or ambition. So the question here is it a push-pull thing? Are you just done with corporate and like how you're being treated and like I'm going? Or is it more of a pull factor? So it's like, I feel I need to do something.
I've always knew that, I wanted to build something on my own.
Right.
Right. What? I don't know. When? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just at that moment I wake up and I was like, okay, I think this year's the time. to do so.
Was this
right?
after? Was this after the supermarket video?
Yeah, this after, yeah.
Is it? And
yeah.
it was like,
yeah.
you know what? I
Yeah.
think I can do this.
Yeah, I think I can. With the skills and the knowledge I've acquired so far, I think you put. Let's put it that way, right? I also know that there is never 100% ready and then start. There's no such thing, right? It's always like go with the flow, right? Go with the flow, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that, hey, you know what? I think along the way I'll learn even more, right? I think that's the best part, right?
Right.
And and I think for me it's also that resilience. Like I told myself, look, if I fail, then I'll go back to corporate job.
Right. That's a plan B. Do you think it's important to have a plan B?
No. No, sorry. Sorry, let me rephrase.
Yeah. Okay,
yes and no. Yes and no. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, to a certain extent that I think having a plan B is good at the back of your head, but not necessarily that because it acts like a structure,
Right.
like a backbone, right? But it's good to know that you have that. That's all, right? But I think it's okay to take a little bit of risk. It's okay to jump out of your comfort zone a little bit sometimes, right? Doing things in the unknown land.
You don't need to sugarcoat it, man.
Yeah.
I'm with you on this one. Like, because I moved here to
Yeah.
Malaysia when I was 24 years
Yeah.
old, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just roll the dice and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then what's the worst that can happen? Well, I go back to the UK and I have to live with my mum and dad.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
Yeah.
it's like, if that's the worst thing that can actually happen,
Yeah, be it, right?
Well,
It doesn't matter. Yeah, and then we'll go back home and then we'll figure out again.
and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure out again, right? So I think that was that that thought process that I have,
Nice.
right? I mean, even from the whole Vietnam trip, I said, look, go there. If it turns out they can't do it, then
Yeah.
it's a short holiday then.
Did you when you left the supermarket, went home, woke up that one fine morning, but like, I want to do my own thing?
2024.
2024.
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah, 2024. I think.
Did you validate it with anybody else? Were you like, you know what, I'm going to speak to some friends, see what they think, or were you just like, I'm just going to do? I'm just going to do it. It doesn't matter what anyone says because it's just my time.
So I think I did, right? I think I did.
I remember speaking to you one time. You were like, I'm working on something. do
Yeah.
you remember this? I was like, what is it? Like, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell
so
you.
I think I did, but I also realized one thing, right? When you speak to a lot of different people have different opinions.
Yeah.
And sometimes that actually cloud your vision.
Right.
Right? Okay, yeah, say that, hey man, this guy's arrogant or whatever. But it's not. It's more of like I try to shut that so that I know my path and I want to stick to my path.
Right.
Right? I think sometimes it's good to have that balance. Sometimes it's good to have people telling you, hey, look, I don't think this is a good idea, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes also it's good that, hey, I don't need this noise. I just want to do this because I feel that I know what I'm doing, right? Yeah, so it's that moment.
How do you find that balance though? Because it's tough, right? Because a lot of the times, and coming back to what I asked about your parents early on and like their support and just being like, yeah, just go and do this. A lot of the times, like later on in life, to like you're getting a bit older, you want to settle down, have some kids. Like maybe now's not the right time to start like a drinks business in this sea of F&B. So it's
like
normally the closest
saturated,
ones to you that are like,
yeah,
maybe you want to rethink this.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
So I think I'm also learning until today. I don't think I have everything figured out. Like I said, sometimes journey can be lonely. Sometimes there will be a lot of people telling you different things. But I think end of the day, I need to tell myself that it's me that is the one who makes the decision.
Right.
Right? I need to think soundly. I can collect all these feedbacks and put in and digest it like a little AI tool and then come out with a solution, right? Or come out with action. Yeah, I think that is how I see it, right?
That's a really good thing, a really good point to make. So, because you corrected yourself, you said come up with a solution, but then you were like, no, come up with an action. So solution, this is like an idea of what we could do, but then an action is like, well, just let's fucking
do it.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it and see where.
Yeah, right. And I think from other people I've spoken to as well, they get caught up in the fact that if they make this decision, then they have to stick to that decision forever, rather than, I made this decision, it hasn't worked out, so I failed here, then course correct, and we'll go again, and we'll go again, and we'll go again.
Best part is that if you're doing this alone, you can pivot anytime.
Yeah.
Even at 8 p.m. you can pivot it. Right? Because it's just you. There's no team members.
Isn't that what you messaged me at 8 p.m. last night?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, is this still on?
Yeah.
Was that a pivot?
No. No, so I think it's good in that way, right? It gives me that flexibility to just pivot if I want to. Like, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, it didn't work out. Stop what you're doing and just change. Don't do it anymore because you don't see much results.
How do you manage your ego with that? Because again, coming back to this idea of like fear and ego, it's like, oh, you know, Julian made this decision, it didn't work out. Oh, look, he's doing this now. So it's like,
man,
either fear of judgment, like.
I think naturally I just have thick skin, man.
Like, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
I just don't give a shit because I think at the end of the day, it's like if you feel, you feel. So what? But you've tried, and you can always bounce back, stand up strong again, right? Later on.
Where does that come from?
I don't know, man. Like, I think probably watching too much reels and, and motivational TikTok videos. I think.
Yeah.
But no, I think I guess like to me it's always that thought process of like you have only one life, and if you don't do it now, when, right? I mean, just try, right? I mean, nothing wrong with trying, right? Everyone fails. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Are you big on self-development?
Yes, exactly. So that is where so that's why I told you about the TikTok scrolling, the reels. I was like, oh shit. And then every time when I watched that, I was like, damn it, today I need to go and do something crazy. Right? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and I also think that, you know, also it's the people around me, the people who I hang out with, you know, I think they're a little bit more older than me. I think they have definitely way much more experience than me. I think I definitely feed off a little bit from there, right? For sure. And it fuels me because whenever I speak to them and then whenever they share like, you know, what they're up to, what they're doing, I was going, oh shit, okay, let's do something, right?
Yeah.
Not just sitting down watching White Lotus, right?
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
It's good, man.
Is it worth a watch? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm curious more about this one because there's two ways to kind of think about this. Doom scrolling, look at all these people doing something, I'm shit, and you go into a negative spiral about, oh, I'm not achieving much and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're the other way. You see people doing stuff, you get inspired and like, okay, what action am I going to take and what am I going to do? Have you always been that way, operated on a more positive?
No, I think like I said, I think it's...
Are you an optimist, by the way?
I am, yeah. I think it's based on experience and also like skills, right? So I think it's always... I believe in trying. Because I believe in if you don't try, 100%, you definitely have that failure.
Right.
But if you try, then 50%, right? But at least you know when you try, you get to learn as well. Like, okay, actually, what is the issue, right? I give you an example. Last year, this is a crazy thing, right? So, Hugh, right? My friend.
I know Hugh.
And
give me some free t-shirts, Hugh.
and he runs a lot, and I think, you know, just seeing that running, getting into races and marathon, I feel like, oh wow, okay. At first, I thought, okay, scary. Shit, I don't think you can do it, Julian. You have not even run more than 5K. How can you do it, right? And then there is this KL Stanchart Marathon, right, around the corner. And we said, okay, let's just sign up. I said, fuck it, let's just sign up, right? I didn't do full, sorry. Full disclosure, I did half. And I was like, for me, half is a lot because I've never done 21 in my life.
You said you've never run more than 5.
Exactly,
so,
I've never. I mean, the Atlas run is what, like under 10, like 6, 7?
Yeah.
6, 7. And I was like, okay, let's just sign up and let's just go for it, right? In my head, I'm thinking, worst case scenario, if I cannot finish, then I'll just walk.
Right.
Home. Just walk until the finish line, right?
Yeah.
As simple as that. And then I was like, okay, let's just do it, right? And I've tried it on my own. I just did around my home area. Like there's a little loop, and I just keep looping until I reached 21 one day, and I was like, fuck. 21 easy. I was like,
based on where you live, looping that.
Yeah. I was like, 21 not that hard. Actually, it's okay. It's okay. And then I said, okay, let's try next week one more time, right? And I did it again, and I was like, hey, I'm ready for marathon. and you know, like before the race, there's a lot of noise. You know, there's a lot of like pose and stuff. And then I get a little bit scared. I was like, wow, shit, everyone's like super pro. Like, shit, like, what do I do? Right? And I told myself, you know what, fuck it, Julian. At the end of the day, you're just going there for fun, right? If you can complete it, good for you. If you cannot complete it, just walk. It's fine. But at least you try.
Right.
And then we can laugh about it, right? So I thought that would be that's my thought process, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've completed it, and I was like, shit, I can't believe that I can do a 21.
What was your time for your 21? I've got to ask.
Wait, sorry, I think it's a 2 hours and 6 minutes.
2 hours, just over 2 hours then.
2 hours, yeah.
Actually, first race, third half marathon technically with the other.
Yeah,
two.
because the first two I did it around my area, right?
Good job.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not a bad. So then that's where I realized that, okay, so what is the problem here? I think the problem here is that, yeah, my knee is going to break soon. And second of all, it's just that the mental game, right? And I was like, I remember the last few kilometers, I was like, Julian, don't stop, man. Everyone is taking photo. Don't fucking stop. And I was like, oh man, my legs are gone. And I was like, okay, if you stop now, everyone take photo, then you look like a loser. I was like, dude, fuck it, man. If worst case scenario, just go to the doctor and just fix your knee. So, and I followed through, and I was like, okay. And then after I sat down, I was like, oh man, my legs are gone. Yeah, so I think that in me has always been around, of like, let's just try, right? If cannot, then it's okay, but try, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say, not so much on the marathon side. But yeah, I think that is where it's always been in me.
Limiting beliefs.
I discovered that, after, a couple of years throughout my career journey. Yeah.
I want to find out more about what happened when you got back from Vietnam. But before that, just on the marathon side of things, and probably in either work, career, choice of subject, whatever it is, limiting beliefs. Like, at one point you were like, I've only ever run 5, 6, 7K, I can't run 21. And then you were like, oh, fuck it, I'll just try it. How do you... People struggle with limiting beliefs, right? They tell themselves a story, it's like, I can't run 21, therefore I won't run 21.
Yeah.
But you were like, I've never run 21, so I'm gonna run 21.
I guess don't sell yourself short, right? At the end of the day, like, everyone, we have the same brain, we have the same legs, we have the same... Okay, muscle density is different. Okay, you and me different.
Very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that we're all the same, right? Right. It's not impossible, right? It's possible if you try, and it's possible if you have the right strategy and right mindset. Right.
I think that mindset's a big one, right? Because a lot of people will stop at that point. It's like, oh, too many drinks, not even gonna bother trying this Supergulp thing, which is now on however many shelves across like wherever. How do you overcome that? Was it like for you personally? Have you got any kind of mental tools where you're like, oh, this is a limiting belief, so therefore I have to do it, and that's like a trigger point for you. It's like, oh, I've got to act. For some people, it goes the other way, right? How do you do it? Yeah,
so I think the mindset is like, let's just try and see what happens.
Right.
Let's just try and see what happens.
Even when your internal monologue is, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. Yeah. You're just like,
try and see what happens. Unless the result is very, very negative.
Yeah.
Then stop what you're doing.
Okay.
Stop immediately. Right.
So you trust the outside response rather than your internal.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Because sometimes I think like you said, right, we're limiting ourselves when it comes to mindset. We are like, oh, you know what, selling a million cans is hard, but it's not impossible if you divide by 5 markets, divide by X amount of outlets, and we divide by then it looks like, hey, look, it's only 100 cans per store.
It starts to get smaller as well.
Yeah,
so, okay,
exactly.
well, what do I need to do? Well, I need to get one store.
Yeah, get the store.
And then I need to get another store. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just the perspective, right? Like how you see it, right? Whether you see it, 1 million as 7-digit versus divide, and I see, there's only 100 cans per store.
Right.
Now, that is much easier and much more palatable compared to, a million, oh shit, what do I do with a million? Right? Yeah.
Good way to think about it.
Yeah. So same thing, right? How I apply it, like even marathon is just 21 divided by 7. So it's 7 kilometers 3 times, 3 Atlas runs. Right. Right? 3 Atlas runs. Not that bad, right?
This is what I think about when I'm on my runs as well. It's just
not that bad.
Yeah, it's just actually, do you know what? I'm going to do 1 more kilometer and I'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I'll do 1 more kilometer and I'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's actually not that bad. Like 7, divide by 3, and then see how it goes. Because if the first 7 you feel okay, the second 7 okay, a little bit tired, and then last 7 it shouldn't be fine. It should be okay.
Should be okay.
It should be
I like
okay.
that. I'm not even looking at this.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
Yeah. Okay.
So Vietnam,
Yeah.
you came back from your holiday. You met with
Work/holiday.
we'll just call it a holiday.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better. Whereabouts in Vietnam did you go?
Ho Chi Minh,
Nice.
Saigon. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you came back.
Came back.
It was positive. You were like,
Positive.
okay.
We continued talking. I was just throwing some flavors, some ideas, what we can do. Just creating this R&D involved. Then we just
all this while it's just you and your partner in Vietnam, or is there anybody here that you were kind of sharing ideas with and spitballing a few things?
sure. I mean, I've gotten like a close bunch of friends to try out the different samples, right? And
Right.
tell me, hey, is it too sweet? Like you and the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
It's too sweet. Yeah, it's too much fizzy. Yeah, this is not great. This flavor cannot work. So I get that feedback, but again, like I said, 5-10 people is not going to speak for all the entire consumer.
Yeah.
But for me, it's good enough.
Right.
Because, dude, I would never be able to create a product that everyone in the world would like it, right? Some people might like it, some people hate it, some people super like it. Doesn't matter, right? So yeah, that was my thought process, and did that back and forth, and finally we got into 3 flavors, right? Which is the watermelon, the lychee, and also the lemon, right?
I don't know which one my favorite is. I'm probably gonna have the watermelon pineapple later, I think.
Yeah.
But this one's good. The lychee.
The
lemon.
lychee, yeah.
Lychee lemon, yeah.
So, and I think at that point, I was like, okay, let's do this the most cost-effective way, right? I can design. I actually went and spoke to a few agency and say, look, this is what I want to do. I want to create a brand for this. I need the logo. I need the can design. I need a website. Blah blah blah, and everyone comes back with like crazy amount of like quotation and invoice. I was like, shit, dude, that's not what I. Yeah, that's not what I want.
Yeah,
right. And then one day I came home. I was like, dude, look, you've studied design. Just re-download Adobe Illustrator and just design it on
It's
your
literally
computer.
your thing, man.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. So I just so this is where I want to talk about my design school experience, right? So then I downloaded, although many years I've not touched Illustrator, and I was like, okay, re-download. I was like, oh, okay, still remember. And just putting things together. So I didn't have the first can with me. I probably have some at home. And I just did that. I was like, as long as you can read, you can understand, it's cool. Yeah, I think it's good to go.
Were those the original cans that you had, the more plain ones?
Yeah, that's the one that I designed. Yeah, that's the one. This one is upgraded.
Honest opinion? I preferred your design, man.
Oh really?
Yeah, I preferred the minimalist one.
Okay.
I really like that.
Really?
But I think everything's flashy nowadays with lots of colours.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I just getting old?
You thought that was okay.
I did. So I like the minimalist look because
Okay.
when you look at a shelf, like personal opinion, I'm not a market, right? The more white space you have, like on a package, the more it kind of, as for me, it draws my eyes in because everything is
very condensed.
Yeah, overly designed, like and it's
yeah.
difficult to see like throughout the patterns. But then all of a sudden you have a space on a shelf which is just 3 bright colors, a lot of white space or color space, and then just Supergulp. And I was like, oh, there it is. So that's why when I'm out and about, I'm like, oh, there's Super. It's so easy to catch the eye.
To catch that eye. Okay. Yeah. So I think I did that, and I was like, okay, I think it's good to go, right? Again, nobody approves it. It's just myself. I was like, yeah, good to go. You did it.
Oh my god, I'm the fucking best. Like, good job. I can just imagine your office employee of the month.
It's just me. It's just me. Designer, me. Operator, me. And I was like, okay.
Oh man.
Let's just do it, right? Let's just do it.
Had you, in parallel, been talking to potential either distributors, supermarkets? Were you doing both at the same time, or were you just all product focused right now, deal with this other thing later?
Even when we concluded like the flavors they want to produce, I've been asking them to send me like bulk of samples, and what I did with that, there's no design on the can, it's just aluminium color,
right?
was taking the cans. I was going to different restaurants and different supermarkets, knocking on doors. Say, I need to have a meeting with you, and I have this product, and I just built a deck, superimpose those design on the can, and show that this is the nutritional facts. This is the market for it. This is the kind of demand that we're seeing. Blah blah blah, and this is my costings and stuff. I was already selling even before they produced this. Because
how we so it's
Sorry, Siri.
because it's funny. Anytime you ask Siri to do anything, it's like, oh, sorry, you need to open your phone for that. The moment you don't need it to do something, it actually does something. Fucking Siri, man. So because this is obviously to taste and flavor profile and all that kind of stuff. So how did you do that? And you were going into restaurants saying, hey, do you want to buy?
Yeah.
Do you want to buy this?
Exactly.
Like, oh, can we try it? Like, well, no.
So I brought the samples.
Oh, so you got the
I
samples.
brought the samples.
Okay.
I got the samples. I got them shipped from Vietnam, and
Yeah.
I just have a small quantity.
Yeah.
All right, and then I just went to different restaurants, different supermarket. And
How did you select the restaurants and supermarkets that you went after initially?
Closer to home.
Really?
Just try selling first. I remember this. This is actually from my ex-boss, Mick. He always tell me this: whatever you're doing, just sell first. Just sell first. All right.
Okay.
We'll figure out it later, but
Yeah.
we'll sell first. People buy it means you have validation.
Right.
Right. Simple as that. Right. The dollar value, or we can talk about it later.
Right.
Right. So I went there and I just sell. And I said, look, we have this product, including your menu, and they said, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. And that is where when I was on the way home, I was like, whoa.
What were they buying? Were they buying the? Let me elaborate.
Yeah.
Were they buying the concept of like a prebiotic drink, or were they buying like the health aspect? Were they buying something on the menu? Like what?
No.
What were they?
I
What were
think-
you basically?
yeah, so
what
I
were you
think-
selling?
yeah.
And what were they buying?
So I think it's number one. It's new.
Right.
There is no prebiotics.
Okay.
I don't think there's any prebiotics player who approached them
Right.
and say, look, let's sell this on your restaurant menu.
Mm.
Right? Supermarket, maybe, yeah, some foreign brands, like I mentioned to you, the American ones, the Australian ones.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think when they tasted the drink, that is where they feel like, oh, this is different from my San Pellegrino, my Coca-Cola, my Sprite, my whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think these two things combined. There's no design, yeah, so they can't see anything, right? They only see on the deck,
Yeah.
right, on the PDF. And
It's like a blind taste test.
exactly. So and at the moment when they say, yeah, I'll buy it, and I say, okay, look, shipment will come in 1 month time, right? Because obviously there's no products, right? But it will come in 1 month time.
Right.
I was punching in orders already, right? I was punching orders, creating account, generating invoices and stuff like that. Then I was like, okay.
For these restaurants you reached out to as well, did you know? Was there a pre-existing relationship of people that you knew from like your Honestbee or Food Panda days?
Yeah, for sure, that helped.
So was that your like initial step?
Yeah,
Is it-
that's the initial step. Yeah,
Yeah.
that helped.
So it's like, oh, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to this restaurant because I know John, the
Yeah,
general
exactly.
manager. Okay.
Friends of friends,
Right,
who
right.
connected,
Right.
and things like that. And I think at that point, I got my first supermarket, which is Cura. My first restaurant, Pizza Mansion.
Oh, you got Pizza Mansion.
Yeah, that was my
Dude,
first.
Talking about like where your product would actually sit in
Yeah.
terms of like a good value add, like Cura is like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
then Pizza Mansion
Yeah.
as well, based on like how they.
yeah, because I think before that, prior to that, I already know my ICP, right?
Yeah.
I know my ICP won't be your KK Mart or 99
Yeah.
Speed Mart. I know it's going to be minimum your Jaya and
Yeah.
above, or your Aeon and above.
So even though you were going close to home, you knew.
I knew who my ICP, because
Right.
all I need to do is just visit, let's say, KK Mart, and see what's the most expensive drink.
Yeah.
If the most expensive drink is $3.90, and this is not going to work.
Right.
Right? As simple as that. Yeah, and I think that's my first supermarket, my first restaurant. And I said, oh shit, I need to do more of this, right? So
Yeah.
then I can actually start selling even before the product arrives. When the product arrives, just shooting it out and just delivering. That's all, right? At least out of the entire batch that I've ordered, I've already sold, let's say, 10-20%, right? So I think that's great. By the way, I don't know how many percent I've sold prior to that, but I
That
thought
dude's
that,
listened to all of it. We're
Yeah.
100 million ringgit business.
But then I thought, okay, that's a great idea. So, like if one restaurant says yes, one supermarket says yes. Now how do I do 5 more restaurants, 5 more supermarkets? How do I do 10 more, 20 more, 30 more?
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, I just keep knocking doors. I was doing sales every single day.
Nice.
All I do is just carry a tote bag of like cans, and I was just going around and just setting up meetings and just have a deck to show them. And I was like, look, this is what I'm doing.
Referrals.
Right? Exactly.
Like,
Referrals
yeah.
as well, right? Hey, I know this guy. Yeah, you can speak to him if you want to.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then when the product arrives, it's all about just sending to those that we have sold to, right? Ensuring the product goes into the place and starts selling. At the same time, doing a lot of BD work. So, I mean, end of March actually, the product arrived. And I think
end of March last year, right?
Yeah, 2024.
Yeah.
And the sales has started, I think, right after Chinese New Year, which is Jan or Feb, somewhere along those lines. So about a month before sales has already started. Sales activity has already started.
Nice.
Right. And then so throughout the whole entire 2024, it's just pure BD sales work. Restaurants, gyms, boutique hotels, supermarket, convenience stores. Yeah, so those are just.
How are you selecting these verticals and the ones that you go after?
So I try to do more restaurants because I think at that point when I was thinking restaurants, they don't have all your listing fees, your account opening fees, blah blah blah. Supermarket's expensive to go into.
Right.
So I tread very carefully on that, and I try to balance more restaurants sales versus supermarket, so that this guy's margin that I make, I can cover the costs of this.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why I think at the beginning you see more restaurants, and then after slowly when traction starts coming in, then we start to go into more supermarkets as well. Right? That is the idea.
What's your price point?
At the restaurant it's between 13 to 16 ringgit. At the supermarket, convenience stores, it's all standardized at 9 ringgit 90 cents. Yeah, so the only way, we only standardize the supermarket and the convenience stores category, because example, Akira here cannot be selling 10 ringgit, and then the village grocer that's 11 ringgit. Doesn't make sense. But restaurant is fine because a can of Coca-Cola can be different downstairs, can be different there, blah blah blah, right? Like can of Coke, same thing. So that is the thought process, right?
Overall pricing strategy in terms of where your product fits in the F&B category. Did you experiment with pricing, or you just like
just go to the supermarket, look at all the pricing, and say, okay, this is the pricing.
Do you have a?
It's very.
Do you have a finance director, by the way? Or
no, I'm the finance director. Again, I'm learning as well, right? So
this is expensive learning.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, like I said, right, everything is just very me.
Yeah.
Right, and it's easy to pivot if I want to.
Right.
Right. So I didn't want to. I guess sometimes when you sit down on a certain topic too long, then you just lose momentum.
Yep.
But I told myself, look, it's not that hard. Fine. Look, whatever you think that is comfortable, you can cover your costs, you can make good margin. Just go with it. We'll figure out later.
Nice.
Oat side has started with 14 ringgit 90 cents for a carton of oat milk. Today they're 9.90. Right. So you see, we can always revise that later.
Yeah.
All right. Too high maybe cannot. Increased price cannot. But going down maybe can.
One thing I didn't realize as well about Oatside is how long it's actually been around.
Very recent.
No.
Oh really?
Get your phone and have a look at Oatside. Founded year or whatever it was.
Benedict Lim. 2022.
No. Which is the one? Ah, you know what? Is it Oatside?
Oh, minor figures, is it?
No. Hang on a minute. Is it Oatside or Oatly? One of them.
Oatly. I think it's Oatly.
One of them has been around for like 30. How many Oatly? 30 years or something.
I think it's Oatly, man.
Do you reckon? Yeah, this one, Oatly. It's Oatly. Oatly.
2020?
No. 1994.
Poof.
And then they did a whole rebrand. I don't know if it was because of Oatside or Oatside came after the rebrand of Oatly, but basically I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the whole vegan movement, this one came out and it's just like did a huge rebrand and it's like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
supermarkets, restaurants, pricing point, strategy.
So I think at that point I was just like, let's just keep selling, man. Yeah, because I think and honestly at that point, I know at the end of the day, brand like us is a marketing game.
Yeah.
Right. But then I need to make a decision of like, where do I spend my hours, right? Do I spend it on marketing, creating a very, very cool and sexy looking brand, but no sales? Or get a lot of sales, but brands just whatever,
Right.
right? I chose the second one, right? Because I think at the end of the day, if you want people to talk about you, it's just, I mean, okay, people talk about you in a business way, it's sales, right? Sales don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. So you can tell people like, look, you know what, I have this prebiotic brand, it's the best and all this. How much stock do you have? Oh, it's still the same when I brought it. Okay.
Do you actually have a business then?
Yeah, exactly. So so I chose sales. So every day is just sales appointment.
When you first started, it looked like there was quite a bit going into the branding side of things as well, though.
It's just me. I mean, I just designed the logo. I picked the colors.
But even like I saw that there was a photo shoot that you did, and even
so
website
that
design
one
and stuff like
that
that,
one I
right?
just got like a photographer to help me out to take a photo. Yeah, but that's only one time. Yeah, so we just did that because we needed some materials to post, right, or materials to actually use as assets.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I can do it on an iPhone way, but yeah, it's not gonna work out.
Sorry for my my iPhone. This is all I've got at the moment.
Yeah. So marketing is very minimal.
Right.
I think last year there's little to almost zero marketing. There is no there is Instagram account, but there's only probably 3 posts. That's about it, 4 posts.
You've just been flat out on sales.
Just sales, man. Every day.
What's the growth been like for the sales?
So we sold about 60,000 cans last year.
Holy shit! And 2024, was that your first full year?
No, March this year is full year because March to March, right?
Yes.
So that's 10 months.
So 10 months. 10 months. You did.
To January, yeah.
You did 60,000.
Yeah, 10, 11 months, yeah.
Shit, man, that's pretty.
Yeah. So just sales, right? And then I think this year, now I said, okay, I think we can try to find balance between marketing and sales now, right? I think we've done a lot of sales, great, but let's continue that momentum, don't stop. But now how do we incorporate marketing as well, right? Because we need to talk about the brand, but why do you pay $9.90 for this?
Right.
Because it's prebiotics, it's low sugar, low calories, but people want to know the why, right? And then after that, they translate to the what, right?
For last year, just before we get onto marketing, because I know that's, especially for a consumer good, it's well out of my realm of knowledge, right? How are you planning last year? Are you like, hey, these are milestones that we need to hit, these are the numbers that we need to hit, or is it just like, we're going to go out and sell and we're going to see what happens?
So I think before the business start, I mean, coming from more corporate, I have created like OKR shit. I was like, wow, this is quarter by quarter, this is what we're going to do. Dude, none of that exists. Okay? So I remember creating all of that. I was like, okay, yeah, but this year we're going to gain this much of followers. And it didn't work out.
No.
So the only thing that works out is sales. Yeah. Right?
Did you have a target number in mind? Okay, we want to shift this much product.
Last year?
Yeah.
I just want to sell whatever that I brought in.
Okay.
Vietnam. Yeah, that's it. I just want to get rid of all of that, right? And if I can do so, good.
Was that 60,000?
Done. Yeah, exactly.
It was.
Yeah, first batch was 6,000. So that's why you see this. This is a new batch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and at that point, it's just a lot of salesmen, like really just, and that's where I learn as well. Like that's where I learn. I understand the pain points of restaurant owners. Sometimes whenever they say no, but why, right? It's because maybe, certain period of time, restaurant business not doing well, so they're unable to bring in more products, right? There is also price point, like, okay, if it's 16 ringgit a can, yeah, but my guys are only buying it for 7 ringgit a drink. Now, how do I stretch them? How do I stretch the consumers? So that's where I also learn, right? I think that's very interesting for me. So that helps me to understand that, look, okay, then I need a different strategy for people like this, right? What do I do? How can I support these retailers as well, right? Because I still depend on them at the end of the day, right? I mean, I'm just a product. I need to use their platform to transact these products. So I think last year just a lot of sales, and I. Of course, it's nice to dream, and I always dream. Imagine I can just sell it in Bali. I can also sell it in like Indonesia,
Dude,
like
you know,
Singapore, you know.
Bali would be a market for you,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. So I always thought that. I was like, oh, you know what? That'd be so nice, like going to Potato Head and then just pick up a can of Supergulp. And I go like, oh. Yeah. I mean, that is just what it manifests in my head, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so what do I need to do? Let's find people who is able to bring the products into this country or into this market, right? Then yeah, I started to set up meetings with distributors, retailers, and in these different markets. And that started end of last year, right? It started end of last year.
Looking at different markets.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at different markets because I was like, okay, let's try to branch out a little bit, right?
How big's your team though? 4?
Oh,
3?
just one.
It's 1 plus any part-timers?
So I have part timers that come and go. But I realized that part timers didn't work because I think it's the same saying, right? If you put in part-time
work
and you get part-time results.
Yeah. A bit like when you were doing the makeup stuff, right?
Cannot, right? Exactly, cannot.
The reason I ask is it's 60,000 cans last year, probably on course to do more than that this year based on like the locations you're at. One-man team. Aren't you spreading yourself too thin?
For sure. And I mean, dude, there are days where, you know, I come home, I was like, man, I'm so flat out. Like, I don't want to do anything anymore, right?
Really?
I'm just really, really tired. Like, because it's not just sales, you know, like, think about it. You still need to manage operation because there's warehouse, like third party that we use.
Yep.
There is also marketing that's third party this year we use. There is also...
Dude, it's the whole business.
Yeah, so it's like
literally the whole thing.
and everything depends on me because I will still need to feedback and say, oh, look, I don't think we should do this, right? I don't think it makes sense because nobody will know the business as much as you do because you are the business owner, right? They can support, they can give their best, right? But end of the day, decision comes from you.
Yeah.
So, you know, decision making, setting up meetings, selling.
Running the business, running the P&L.
Right?
So I
yeah,
mean,
so man, it's not easy, dude. I'm telling you.
like in your mind, then how do you manage that? Because obviously with the traction you've got in Malaysia, it's like, okay, well, I think we got some here. Do you know?
Yeah, some traction. Yeah.
And then how do you think about doubling down on that or finding further routes into the market, like spread out further in Malaysia versus, hey, let's try and find some distributors in Indonesia? Like,
how do I spread out?
Yeah,
I don't have a formula, to be honest. I tried doing this back then, early of this year. I was like, okay, every Monday is sales day, every Tuesday is this day.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, man.
I think less about the structure, more about the thought process for you. It's like, oh, you know what I want to try with Indonesia. Do you think because it's like, oh, you know, it's shiny and I've got a vision for a potato head and Kraken opener?
Yes, exactly.
But then, do you run the risk of sacrificing the momentum that you spoke about, like that you've got here?
So I think end of the day, I always remember that core business will still have to be home ground, Malaysia, and then those are your bonuses. Right. If I see it that way, then which means how I allocate my time will be also core here. Yeah. And then after that, bonuses will be there. Right. Okay. That is how I see it. I still don't have a formula like, okay, how should I spread myself, right? I'm also even thinking, hey, you know, maybe just get someone like to help to project manage things. I think maybe that help. But again, then I was like, oh shit, I can't pay. Then what do I do? So that is like an ongoing process that I'm trying to overcome with as well, right? Have I figured everything out? I don't think so. But
man, it's gonna be a work. You've been doing this for like just over a year.
Yeah, just over a year.
Just of course you're not gonna have everything figured out.
So then of course then thought process will then Julian do more sales so you can pay your team. As simple as that, right?
Based on like the thought of Indonesia and the thought of growing home ground here in Malaysia. If I was you, what would you advise me? Based on what you know about the business, imagine you were advising me in your shoes.
Okay. Sales.
Where?
Start with home ground because it's the easiest, right? I can tell it's as simple, right? Over here, there are days where I consider myself a sales day. All I do is just pack like cans in my bag,
I love that.
put on my running trainers, and just go on like KL and just knock door to door.
Just doing door-to-door mission.
Yeah,
Like,
fucking
man,
door
that's
to door.
awesome.
I always, you know, the inspiring part is that, you know how back then whenever there's the milk truck where they go door to door and sell you milk. Hey, do you want milk? And then people say, yeah, sure, I'll give you $10.
Yeah.
I think that works because that is a Supergulp sales foundation. We started with a lot of door to door. Right, just going on different restaurants, just say, hey, can I speak to your procurement team, or can I speak to your boss, or can I speak to a manager, whatever, right? Yeah, sure, okay. And then after that, leave, go to next one, and then after that, go home, set appointment for the following day, and then and there's door to door, man. Is it hard work? I say, yeah, fucking hard work. I rather go back to corporate, AC, full blast, and just sit down. A nice cup of coffee. But yes, hard work. But because I think that's why I said, like, you know, part-timers or whoever probably won't understand this current moment, because I see the vision, but people who join me maybe tomorrow or the week after probably don't see the vision as much as I do. So maybe certain things they're like, oh, really? Do we need door to door? Hot, man, it's sweaty. But I see it because I was like, dude, if today I can close out of door to door, if I can visit 10 outlets, if I can secure 5 meetings, that's 50%. If I can secure 2 sales, not bad. All right, that's about 30%, 33%.
Is that your conversion rate at the moment? 30%?
No, man.
What's your conversion rate at the moment?
Slightly lower.
Slightly lower, 28.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is how I see it, right? Because what's the best way to generate leads? Yeah, you can Instagram message, you can Facebook, or you can email. But dude, these guys are busy running the restaurant. They don't have time to look into all these emails and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The best way to catch them is when they're at the restaurant, because they're there.
Right.
They're running the restaurant. They're overseeing the restaurant, right? Then that's the best time. And bring your cans so that they can try on the spot, right? So yeah, I'm also trying to figure out, hey man, you know, maybe I should just invest in a bigger bag, like a tennis.
Dude, you should get yourself one of the milk carts. Just drive it around the middle of KL.
No, but you see, you need to be mobile. So normally what I do is that I just grab it to the city center and I just walk on foot.
Dude, that's why you're looking so fit.
Exactly. I can run a 21K.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, all the
because
training.
I'm carrying like 10 kilos
10
at the back,
kilos of
right?
cans.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
Just bring cans, just bring a name card, just bring yourself and go. And the best thing is that whenever I go there, I say, hey, look, I'm Julian, the founder of Supergulp, and this is what I have. This is, can I set an appointment with your...
How was your pitch refined over time? Has it changed much, do you find?
Of course, it has changed, right? I've tried different ways.
It's like, buy this.
Yeah.
Buy it. Go, please.
No, man, I think end of the day, it's more of like, I think now I realize that, okay, look, go there, get the number or get the contact, and then schedule next day, because they don't have time, because they're busy running, especially when we go on like lunchtime.
Yeah.
They were like, sorry, I don't have time. Can you just leave your samples? And I realized that if you leave the cans there, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Probably someone drink it and then toss it in the bin and then bye-bye, right? So normally I would say, no, look, I want a meeting now. If you cannot today, it's fine. Let's reschedule some other day. But I need to sit with you. And I need you to try it in front of me, right? I mean, I didn't say it in that hostile way, but it's more of like,
that's very not your style.
Yeah, but I just need you to try it, right?
Yeah,
I think that works. Yeah, so then how do I do more? Then the question that you asked me, are you spreading yourself too thin? Yeah, then how many restaurants can I visit in a day? There's a maximum, right, to it. Yeah. It's not like I can do 24 hours, and anyway they're closed after 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So so I think that is something that I'm also trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I scale this, right? How do I have more Julian replicate, right? And do the same, like, if it gets one person, send it to Penang, another one doing JB.
Is that your plan this year?
Yeah, of course. I think we don't have any restaurants in Penang or JB. I'm even thinking worst case scenario, drive down, bring like cartons of cartons in the car, and just stay like 2 nights in Penang and just do sales run every day.
I'm not gonna lie, man, that sounds kind of fun.
If you want to do it, can. You're hired. Sales per commission. Commissions based on sales. Sorry.
I'd probably just do it for the love of it. Imagine that, just knocking on doors. Hey, have you got a moment? Door-to-door sales.
Yeah, no, man. I think if you do that, it'd be fun. Also, it's because I think they probably will go like, oh shit, this brand is from KL, and okay, they come all the way here. Okay, yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
Right. not so arrogant, right?
Are you,
a bit more open.
Are you actively hiring?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually looking for interns. I'm looking
Such a
for
bad role to hire for intern. What do they do? Yes. It's like,
everything.
oh God.
Yeah. No, I'm actually also looking for like part time, or I don't know, part time / full time, whatever. We'll figure out later. But project manager.
Right.
All right. Because I realized this year, lately, so this is what I do, right? A trick. I don't know if I want to say it here because people will start copying, but this is what I do.
Is your IP? Maybe do you want to whisper it?
Yeah. So let's say if I found a retailer, let's say in Singapore.
Yeah.
And today is maybe today is the wrong day to say it. So it's Friday, but let's say on Monday. I'll email them. I'll tell them, look, I'll be in Singapore on Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. I have slot, right?
Yeah.
I'll come and see you. All right. I'll bring the samples and blah blah blah. So for me, when I send out an email, it's a lot more of like, if they respond and they say, okay, 10 a.m. is good.
Yeah.
I'll buy the plane ticket and I'll go down. Right?
Yeah.
If they say no, I didn't lose anything because I didn't buy any ticket. I didn't lose money. Right? And I was like, okay. And that works, I've done it like 3-4 times.
It's not a secret. That's what I do for a living, man. That's how so I used to do that with Brunei, Miri, Singapore.
Yeah.
Because we were going further afield.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan, Sakhalin.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, South Korea. So we used to do this
Bro, that works. And I've done it 3-4 times, and that is, I feel that shit. They are there, they're in front of me, they are the retailer, they represent the retailer, and cool. So I did that. I still remember the first one I did was in Singapore. I emailed Little Farms. Yeah, and they said, okay, 10 o'clock, sure. Shenton Way or something, I can't remember. I was like, okay. Then the night before, I was like, Firefly, AirAsia, Batik. And I was like, okay, take the early morning flight out, pack a suitcase with me, throw all the cans inside, and go. No clothes, nothing, just cans in the check-in.
Just cans.
And I went and just had a couple of meetings, and I came back in the evening.
That's awesome.
And I was like, shit. I said, shit, can I do more?
Successful?
Yeah. So I was like, can I do more? Right? Yeah, so I think you see that is where again in me again, like I said, you know what, just try, man. End of the day, what you're gonna lose is just a plane ticket of 300 ringgit, that's it. Right? Okay, 400 these days, not 300 anymore. It's getting more expensive.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
You were saying you're looking for a project manager.
Yeah, exactly.
How come you decided to go for a project manager first above?
Because I mean I've tried it, like sales people, but end of the day they're not gonna push as hard as you do. Because what I realized that the part-time sales guys will go there. Hey, I know I'm blah blah blah. I'm Supergulp. You wanna buy this one? And then after they go like, oh no, okay, thank you.
Yeah, leave.
Look, okay, thank you. Like, look,
Yeah.
like, okay, tell me, like, how can we do this?
Yeah.
Right. I think you're lacking of. Can I see your beverage menu? Well, I think you're lacking of a soda, right? This could be the refreshing one, right? What people buy? Oh, not much of coffee. Yeah, I think they like soda, right? So that is missing when you hire someone, because they're just gonna go, no, okay, boss, no, okay.
Wait, isn't that your fault for the hiring and onboarding?
Of course, yeah, it's my fault as well, right?
Yeah.
But then I realized that okay, then nobody's going to do like that, and nobody's gonna do door to door.
I suppose like right now, especially at this early point in the business, like having that direct customer interaction, it's like direct feedback about okay, well this is what we might want to do, this is how we can perfect it. Yeah,
because what you're gonna do is just message on Instagram, boss, no reply. But really no reply, okay, but yeah, you can drive and go and speak to them, right? It's not like an Ipoh, right? It's just down the road, right? Yeah, so it's not that hard, right? So I think that is where, I feel, okay, look, let's have a project manager, so at least whenever I'm doing all these sales run, there's someone holding the fort at home.
Yeah.
Right? Someone is still project manager, because I realize that whenever I go on, like, let's say all these sales run, things just stop. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, stop. How can it be stopped? Like, I can't be like pitching to a restaurant and at the same time, oh, okay. I can't, right? So
gotta
like
get this delivery.
So then project manager, I think.
Where are you looking? Project management?
someone to be all rounder. I mean, I think the core essential skill will be salesman. I mean, you need to sell. I mean, anyone, you need to have that sales skill, because if you cannot sell, then basically you're unfit.
Even in the project management role?
Of course, because I mean, selling your idea, selling your strategy, selling your thought process.
Would you put that down as the most important skill you'd need as an entrepreneur?
Of course.
Would you call yourself an entrepreneur or consider yourself an entrepreneur?
No, man.
No?
Let's reach a certain stage and we can call ourselves that. So I think right now I would just consider as like brand builder.
Okay.
Right. I think just building something. I don't know what. Like I said, right. I of course, you see, like news of like Poppy. You see news like acquisition by Pepsi and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all vision here, right? So now, obviously, they took a lot of years doing a lot of hard work to get there, right? Then now, how do you get there? But in the most efficient way, right?
How would you define an entrepreneur then? You're like, oh, well, I've got to get to a certain point before you consider yourself an entrepreneur.
That's a good one, Greg. I don't know. I didn't really label myself, right? I think the way I see this is just more of like, let's get shit done first, and then we'll figure it out. Yeah. So, I mean, you can call it entrepreneur, you can call it brand builder, you can call it architect or whatever, man.
Fuck off, architect. That's even worse.
Yeah. I mean, you can call it anything you want.
You're so humble. You just let other people call you an entrepreneur. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's fine. But I think it's a lot more. I mean, the way I see it is more on like the results, right? No point you calling yourself an entrepreneur, like a founder or whatever. But dude, the business is not generating any income. So what's the problem? So what kind of business are you? What kind of entrepreneur is this?
SaaS business.
Yeah,
that's so right. I'll get taken to the dogs for that.
Yeah, so I think end of the day, I think the result speaks, right? Because end of the day, you have that like, look, this is how much we're generating, right? Like, you can call me exec, call me intern, I don't care, dude. This is what I'm generating.
The business is
the business is there, right? You can call me intern, I don't care, dude, to be honest. So I think that is actually how I see it, right? At this current moment. Like, project manager for sure. I mean, if you know anyone, I think will help.
Sure, I'll give you some.
Yeah.
I want to know. I don't know how much longer you've got.
No worries, I got all day for you.
Oh, yeah. You're so kind. Just in terms of support system. So you mentioned like you're doing everything yourself.
Yeah. I have outsourced warehousing.
Not that kind of support system. Like friends, family, counselors, psychologists.
Sure, of course.
Like,
man,
what support system do you have, and how have you built it?
Dude, I have no like specific strategy how to build it. Of course, I have friends, right, who's been very, very supportive, who buys for sure. Support by buying, not asking for discount.
Tell me, who was the first person to purchase?
Greg.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I think that is what I have. Fortunate enough.
How'd you build that?
Man, it's just people that I know along the way. Right.
But obviously, there's people that you've met along the way, and just like,
of course,
actually, this person isn't the best for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you mentioned like the people that you surrounded yourself with are slightly older.
Yeah.
And kind of driven.
Yeah.
And they've always got some shit going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you reckon that's by design?
I guess
manifesting.
I think I choose to hang out with these people.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh man, I just want to party and drink till 2 a.m. No, man,
that was back in the day.
Yeah. That's me back in the day as well, right?
Yeah.
But no, not anymore, right? Look, we're all human, and I'm not trying to say that, hey, let's be uptight and like, oh no, say no to drinking, say no to this. No, you can have that nice balance. That's all you need. That's all right?
Have you intentionally stopped maybe hanging around or seeing people as much based on just different ambitions, different lifestyle?
For sure. I mean, a lot of people dropped out along the way, for sure, right? But
was
I
that
guess...
No,
it's not. I think subconsciously, right?
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, also, I guess there's not much time to do all this relationship building or
You do it every day, man.
Yeah.
You're knocking on
No,
doors.
relationship building with restaurant partners, with supermarkets, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
have a lot of time for that.
They're
Yeah.
your new friends.
Yeah, I do want to do that, right? Yeah, but I try to, you know, like to be honest, I try to do sports with friends. I try to hang out. I try to do different activities for sure. I try to. But during working hours, I try to just focus, right? Because I think good balance, like I said, right?
How do you remain focused in work with all the fucking distractions?
Dude, I mean, there's even some. Okay, so I guess one thing I just shut out, right? Like for example, if there's too much distraction, I just turn it off, right? For example, let's say if I feel that, hey, look, you know what, I'm just doom scrolling too much, just turn off your phone and just don't look at it, right? Just do your work, man.
I actually put all my phones on there and I put them on charge because
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like a weird kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
habit of just picking it up and being like,
Exactly, because you just want to say, oh,
and all of a sudden
What's
you're
happening?
you're
Yeah.
15 minutes in looking at Wall Street Journal.
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Anyway,
So, so I think distractions just cut out, right? But again, I'm not gonna discount myself. Like, you know, there are days where I feel like, oh man, just so tired. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take like half a day off,
yeah,
right? And just reset.
half a day off.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, just reset. Hey, have proper meal, right? Go to the gym, right? Come back, shower. Okay, let's start again.
Is that
Right.
how? Is that like class as a reset for you? Decent meal.
Yeah, of course.
Gym.
Decent meal, have enough sleep. Like sometimes at night, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe tonight I don't want to do any work.
Yeah.
Right. I'm done. Right. Okay, fine. It's fine because it's not like it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. Or end of the world. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. It's fine to take time for yourself as well, because don't forget, if you die or you stop doing this or you burn out, dude, it's even worse because the entire business stops.
Right.
Right. So I see myself as more of like asset, right? Like, look, you're the asset for the business. If let's say you stop, the entire thing stop. That's even worse. And how do you restart? You can't restart in the next 1 hour. You probably take weeks to restart, right? Or even months. Some people go into like depression or rabbit hole, right? So yeah, try to take time for yourself to do certain things, right? Just take time for yourself. But just don't be lazy. That's it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine to take.
Where's the balance though? Like, is it you set yourself a time limit? I mean, like, look, I'm gonna take.
No,
half a
man, I'm
day.
not gonna put like timer or anything.
No,
There's
not like
such
that.
thing.
But just like mentally, it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna be done at like 2 p.m. today. I'm
Yeah.
gonna like switch off, go gym, do this,
Yeah.
refresh, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no time limit to it, but it's just that what you feel like doing today.
Right.
Like, do you feel like, hey, you know what, you deserve a rest? Yeah, I think, man, last week has been crazy. Okay, yeah, let's take a rest. Yeah, that's true. Right. It's okay. Then next Monday start again. Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is important. Because otherwise, burning out, it's worse because it's hard to restart. Right. And yeah. I think that is where one of the formula that I try to hold on to.
Knowing what you know now in your business, I'm not going to ask you would you start, but would you do anything differently, or what would you do differently, like starting out in this journey?
What
so
I would
far?
do differently. Nothing on top of my mind right now at this current moment. What I
Still
can do
early
differently.
days,
Yeah,
I
still
suppose.
early days. But I think one thing for sure though, very refreshing to see, like for example, you mentioned, I mentioned, you know, that acquisition of Poppy by PepsiCo and stuff.
Yeah. Was
I
it
remember
1.95?
95, I think.
Yeah.
1.75 or 1.95. Sorry, I can't
There's
remember.
some like
exactly.
cash
Yeah,
component. There was
yeah.
something. Yeah. It's pretty chunky.
And I remember this, you know, like in 2024, early 2024, when I shared, you know, the Supergulp idea, like prebiotics, soda and stuff. Look like, what's this?
The hell is that?
You know, and then recently, in this recent month, people are sending me like all these articles about, and I was like, yeah, good, man.
Well,
yeah.
this is how this came about. This conversation, because I called Bob, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously he's in like the entrepreneur
Yeah,
circles,
exactly.
and I was like, "Do you know anyone? Like, it'd be really interesting to talk to." And he's like, "Well, you spoke to Julian." You know, the thing just came out of the news. I'd read the news that day about prebiotics, and I didn't join the dots between that and it was just so weird. I was like, "Fucking hell!" That's when I called you.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought that this is quite interesting because sometimes, and you know, like deep down I was thinking, okay, shit, last year nobody understands, but this year everyone's sending me. Okay, good to know then.
Got some. Now we're gonna move. Now you're gonna move fast.
Yeah, but then again, like okay, good to know, but okay, yeah. But it's not like I'm Mr. Know It All, but it's just that I feel that people only want to talk about certain things when they see like, oh shit, there's so much success in this, like dollar value piggy bank, everything just then go like, oh shit, this is the one,
Yeah.
right? But dude, I mean,
I was there before all that happened.
yeah,
So.
yeah, no, for sure, right? So
That's cool. What did I not ask you today that I should have?
dude, I think you've asked everything. Or you want to ask like maybe this year vision or
Yeah, you mentioned for this year for the business hiring a project manager, hopefully to do all the operational stuff.
getting
and
into
then
a few more markets.
getting into a few more markets. So Indonesia is one,
Singapore, Thailand,
Singapore and Thailand. Holy shit! So you're gonna go to like 3 other markets
nearby. So you see,
nearby.
okay, why it's so important is because then for Singapore and Thailand respectively, I can do land logistics.
Okay.
Just truck it,
Right.
right? So, and also I think when Supergulp first started, I never had the intention of like, oh shit, you know what, I'm gonna export it to Europe or export it to like America. Dude, I'm not gonna fight in that sea because that sea is crazy, right? I rather be that poppy in Southeast Asia. Done. Right? I rather do that than try to like, oh, let's sell it to Walmart, let's sell it to.
Do you need to educate the market here though?
For sure, dude. That's why like this year, we want to incorporate more marketing,
More the marketing
more
side.
educational piece, more why, right? Because I think end of the day, yes, there's value, 9 ringgit 90 cents, but why?
Yeah.
Why am I paying 9 ringgit 90 cents? I think this is where it's missing right now, and we're building that.
What is the plan for it, for that marketing piece?
Yeah, so I think a lot on speaking to our customers, more female oriented, young adults, right? Then how do we communicate in their appeal, right? Just through your social media. That's one of the biggest platform. Second of all, how do we communicate via our retailers? We have those offline brick and mortar. How do we use that to activate, right? I mean, if you look at your other Poppy or your Olipop playbook, they just use a lot of social media marketing, right? Now, if you want to do that, then how can we, because similar target audience, it's just that probably theirs are all in North America and parts of Europe, and ours is probably around here. Now, how do we do that? And to be honest, I mean, Southeast Asia, if I'm not wrong, in terms of having 1 or 2 device, I think over here is more. I think it's 2.5 or 1.5 device per person.
Is it?
I think something like that. So you go and check out that Google, what's that annual Google SEA? Oh man, I can't remember that shit.
Are we talking number of phones?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. 3.
Plus an iPad.
An iPad 4. Yeah. So I think a lot of like still trying to figure out how do we communicate best
Right.
to consumers, right? How do we let them know that, hey, we are in this retailers, right? Or you can get us online as well.
Yeah. How do you think about placing your bets? Like, okay, we're going to place some marketing bets on this, and this. This is how we'll measure it. And this is what the ROI, not too sure on like attribution for cans, or it's like an educational piece, or how are you thinking about that, either for home market or different markets?
So I think number one, of course, you need to do top funnel, which is your brand awareness first, right? We just need to get the brand out there, right? Talking brand might show you some instant conversion or transaction, but sometimes it might not, because it's just very top funnel. But I think the second part here is that you still need to work in the middle to bottom funnel, which is your where do they buy it from, right? Now, how do you convert them, right? So you just need to bridge all of them together, right? But I think right now, we're just doing a lot of brand awareness. Top funnel.
For the top of the funnel brand awareness stuff, are you across markets on a brand awareness thing right now, or is
Just
it
Malaysia?
Just Malaysia.
Yeah, until once we start selling, let's say in neighboring markets, then we want to do the same as well. Let's replicate. Let's activate.
What are you doing for brand awareness here?
Just a lot of socials. Your UGC. We educate in terms of why the prebiotics, the low sugar, right? And we want to continue doing that, right?
How are you distributing the message? Is it just on TikTok?
Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. TikTok we just started. But TikTok needs a little bit more work, just to get a little bit more affiliates, right? To drive that traffic back to our store. All right. We do have a store on TikTok. Yeah. So
How do you view traditional media in all of this? Billboards, radio,
kind of
TV. I mean, if money aside, like if money wasn't an option, in terms of like
that's a very
awareness
good question. Actually today morning when I was talking to our marketing person, I did mention, I said, look, why don't we just print huge ass posters of Supergulp? I don't know, model holding like this, whatever. And we just paste it across the entire city.
like guerrilla marketing.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at it, and we have a QR code that people can scan, say something like I don't know. There's a hook to it, right?
Yeah.
They scan, they go straight to TikTok shop, they get like, let's say a discount, whatever, then they can buy. But then I also mentioned that, look, if let's say DBKL comes and say, hey, look, what's this?
Yeah.
And I'll say, oh, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. Who did this? Shit, my brand. Right? So I guess, there's a lot of like, okay, so this is where, right, a normal, more conservative person will go like, oh shit, don't do that. That's violating against I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, dude, let's try 10 posters and then we double up next week, 20, and then we double up 30, and then we see what happens. And if worst case scenario, just pay the fine, man. Worst case scenario.
Like the risk reward.
Yeah,
kind of payoff.
worst case scenario. But if let's say the sales on TikTok shop able to convert more than, let's say the fine is 1,000 ringgit, and let's say the sales is 2,000 ringgit, then that I pay off the fine, I still make money.
would you recommend that as a marketing strategy?
I don't know, but just an idea that I tossed it out. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that could work. I don't know, right? Because imagine you're driving and then the traffic light, whatever the wall is like, what the hell is this? And then you go another junction and you go like,
Yeah, another one, like the different colors, like
yeah. It's like, what the hell is this? And then the QR, of course, big enough for you to zoom in.
Yeah.
Right. And then I don't know. But it's just an idea.
Worth trying some stuff.
Worth trying.
What do you wish people knew about you as a final thing? As a leader, a business operator, an entrepreneur?
I don't know. Maybe just go to the TikTok shop and buy more.
Like hardcore salesman.
Just go to TikTok, drink Supergulp and buy more.
Are you doing a refresh on the website?
Yeah. So we are. I mean, right now, if you go to the website, it says.
I tried to log in.
Yeah,
as the
I know.
owner,
Yeah,
as the owner.
We are. Give it a week. Should be up.
What are you doing to it?
So I think because the old website, it's very, how do I say this? Very traditional. It's very like, okay, just one carousel and then 3 boxes and then some text and all this.
Yeah.
So I want it to be a bit more fun, more appealing to like our consumer.
Oh my god!
Right?
I think I'm old.
So I want to make it more fun, where the cans can move, where there's like little nice color. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit upgrade, because why I'm doing it right now is because in the future we'll have your Thai consumers coming in as well.
Right.
Your Singaporean consumers, your Indonesian consumers. So you want it to become your brand portfolio.
Okay.
Right? Rather than they go like, oh, this guy, probably they look like an ABC Sandran Berhad. Right? We don't want that.
Right.
Yeah. So now how do we also continue upgrading? Right? I mean, upgrading when necessary, I think that's a word for it, sorry. I think it's necessary because if you want to go into a new market, I think we need to represent ourselves better. Right? Not look like, this guy just started yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make me want to redo my website now. Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Have you got? I know you were talking about all OKRs and all that kind of stuff. They completely got out the window. Have you got a vision for the business? Do you see where it's going? 5, 7?
For sure. I think the vision here is to be a household brand, right?
Supergulp. Or
not just.
I was going to say, do you see Supergulp as part of a larger kind of bigger?
The vision is the super brand, right? I know it's trademark. Sorry, we'll finally find something else. Right? Use super brand for now.
Yep.
Right? You have the gulp, which is for the beverage.
Yep.
And in the future, you have also the healthy snacks,
Nice.
condiments, and whatnot.
Oh,
so,
man.
but everything will go through the same channels.
Yep.
But one thing that I won't discount, it will be your healthier alternative.
Got it.
So if let's say you're talking about chips, yeah, you have all your Mr. Potato, your Lay's, whatever.
Yeah.
But we want to be less sodium,
Oh, man.
no MSG.
Did you ever have those pop chips that were here?
Which one? The tempeh one? No.
No, it was just like it was like a baked kind of chip that he did. I think they were from Australia, but they were
How
selling.
much is it? See?
They were selling them in Jaya, and now they've gone.
Gone.
I don't know where they've gone.
Because probably it's too expensive. That's why there's no demand, so they stop buying it.
Dude, I bought them all, like all the time. They probably just saw
Not
like,
enough.
just on a POS, it's
Yeah.
like just fucking one guy
Yeah.
like buying everything all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not much. Everything's
Yeah.
kind of fried, right? So
Yeah. So I think the vision is really, like to build different categories, different product, but has to be that healthier alternative, right? Because I think if you look at it, right, people around us are getting healthier,
Yeah.
right? In one way or another, whether they started off from their diet, or whether they started off with just going out do a run, or whether just sleeping enough.
yeah,
Right, they
Oh,
want to be
sleeping enough.
yeah, they want to be right, but how, when? Okay, that's another question, right?
Have you got an idea of like the next product coming out?
No, man. I mean, at this current moment, no. I just want to focus on getting Supergulp established.
Yep.
Just solidify the foundation first.
Yep.
And then we can start looking to other stuff. But I mean, the supermarket runs, I still do that all the time. So never stop doing that. Even whenever I travel, supermarket is not the first place. Of course, checking in the hotel is the first place. And
Are you sure? Like hanging out at supermarkets wouldn't put it past you, man.
But it's nice to see like what other people are selling.
Yeah.
In different markets, right? Yeah, and buy and just try it and like, oh, okay, I think there's angle to this, and keep building, right? Keep building.
You speaking to Arnold? He looks to be.
I know,
he's
right?
doing around to Japan, right? He's just like, oh, just buying this and this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
Any final words before we kill it?
No, man, I don't want to hard sell anymore.
No more hard sell.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, where can we find Supergulp?
TikTok, drink Supergulp. Website soon, right? We are upgrading.
Yep. What is that?
Shopee.
Supergulp.com. Supergulp.
Supergulp.co. Co.
Co.
Yeah.
Okay. Where else?
On TikTok it's just drink Supergulp. On Shopee it's just Supergulp. Yeah.
If people want to find you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
LinkedIn.
You are?
Julian Koh.
Is that Julian with an I or Julian with an A?
E.
That's
E
or
or
an A. E as like
A.
It's an A.
A.
Julian Koh.
Yeah.
Supergulp. All right,
E
man.
is Julian. Yeah. Okay, that's French. Okay.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.
This has been the Mind'em podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It was my goal to give you as much value as possible, and I hope you've got that from this one. Question for you, based on what you heard, how will you think differently, and what will be the next best action step that you can take? If you'd like to be a guest or simply like to have a conversation with myself and the team, feel free to reach out on any of our social channels. Go forth, be awesome, make a difference. Peace out.